Decentraland Mana. Decentraland, the number one metaverse on the blockchain, first to the market, largest market cap, covering Mana today, which is its in-house token. It's what you need if you're going to play or do business on Decentraland. But before we talk about Mana, you might need to know a little bit about Decentraland. Decentraland is a virtual reality platform based on the blockchain technology. Decentraland is a virtual world like the virtual worlds depicted in the movie Tron or Ready Player One. But in the real world, Decentraland users can use the virtual world token Mana to make transactions in Decentraland marketplace. Users can buy virtual or digital land in the form of non-fungible tokens, and they can be used to verify ownership in cryptocurrency, along with a whole bunch of other fun stuff that Decentraland offers. This video, we're going to cover the story, when and why Mana matters, the tokenomics of it, how it's built, the actual use cases, which I've started to mention here, and lastly, the staking and lending aspects of Mana, which is the hot button, because that's how you make some returns. Not financial advice, not a guarantee, but there's some returns there that can be made just for owning and using the token. Ben, why don't you tell us the story of Mana?
So in 2017, Decentraland launched an initial coin offering, or an ICO, to fund the development of their new platform. The ICO raised over $24 million, with the proceeds used to build the initial version of the Decentraland platform and support ongoing development efforts. I've got a pie chart here you can look at. 40% of these tokens were sold publicly in the initial token sale, while the Decentraland Foundation held on to 20%. The founding members of Decentraland kept another 20%, and the last 20% was allocated to building the community and funding future partnerships. So in August of 2017, the coin launched at slightly over 3 cents per coin. In 2018, shortly after Mana made its debut on all the major exchanges, the asset experienced an initial pump and then dump as the new investors flocked in, and the initial coin offering investors dumped their pre-sale tokens, which is pretty standard for the industry. After that, Mana prices stagnated between 2 cents and 17 cents for like 3 years, until Grayscale Investments, a sister company to CoinDesk, announced the launch of its Decentraland Trust product. Shortly after that update, Mana hit its all-time high at that time of $1.63. That was in April of 2021. Since then, its new all-time highest price was in November of 2021 during the bull market, when it hit $5.16 per coin. And now that was the end of the day peg. At some point during that day, it got up to just under $6, so like $5.90, but it was pegged at $5.16 for that daily high. Since then, it's basically trended downward until January of 2023, when it hit a new relative low of about 29 cents per coin. In recent weeks, it's increased, it's doubled to the current price right now of around 65 cents. Currently, the total supply of Mana is about 2.2 billion tokens, and the circulating supply, meaning the coins that are already out there being used and being held on to by the public, is around 1.8 billion. So almost already got it all the way out there. Its current market cap is $1.2 billion. And to give some perspective, at its all-time high, Mana's market cap was around $9.4 billion.
Mana tokens are a must-have for interacting on the Decentraland ecosystem. It serves as the fuel for driving activities. Mana ownership can help in supporting the consensus layer for verifying land auctions and following the burning of Mana tokens. So for when land is bought, they burn Mana tokens, which means it's deflationary, a key for cryptocurrency as far as I'm concerned. It's an ERC20 token. Mana is the native token of Decentraland Metaverse, or the currency of the virtual world. You need Mana for purchasing land, as well as other virtual assets and services in the Decentraland Metaverse. In addition of the role of Decentraland Mana it's also evident in the governance of the Decentraland DAO. So not only can you gamble with mana within Decentraland, which is one of its most popular things to do, it's also the governance for their DAO, which is just a fancy way of saying the members own Decentraland and get to vote based on how much mana they own or land or combination of. So it's a versatile token and it's deflationary, which means it's very usable, it's very holdable, and it supports the main network of land ownership and sales within Decentraland. So it has some very strong usage, and that's the fundamentals of it. But you can still use it to buy wearables within Decentraland, which are, basically hats, clothes, shoes, capes, swords, funds, cars, stuff like that, that people have created within Decentraland and are selling those items to me as a player. I use mana to actually purchase those. So mana is a governance token. It's used for actually buying into the project. And then it's also used for such things as wearables, gambling, or, if there's a Decentraland concert, you can pay to get access and actually be an attendee at that concert. So very versatile, and it's deflationary. Those are the major items for Decentraland's mana token, and that's the usage of the token itself.
Once you buy mana, you can buy mana on most of the major exchanges. It's one of the top crypto tokens. It's actually the second biggest metaverse token behind ApeCoin, which we talked about on last week's news. So it's pretty much available everywhere. And as an Ethereum-based token, it's also able to be stored in most wallets and cold storage devices.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, I personally have mana on an exchange, which I don't recommend, but I also have it in MetaMask, Coinbase, and Crypto.com wallets. So I've got it on all those. You can store it anywhere. It's one of those big main ones. Also, one of the things that I talked about earlier in the video that initially ran up the price of Decentraland was when Grayscale started their Decentraland Trust. So that's where you can invest into it with traditional finance platforms like brokerage accounts and IRAs. Pretty high fees, but if you're interested in buying crypto in something like an E-Trade account, the Grayscale has a Decentraland Trust. I got onto my E-Trade IRA and found out that I actually can buy into the Decentraland Trust, which I thought was
Really
pretty interesting. I don't think we've talked about that really. I don't know if I knew that I could do that.
Another major holder of mana is Republic Realm, the digital real estate company too. They've been an early investor also with some pretty big pockets.
Yeah, which is pretty cool, which is also probably why that this market cap is over $1 billion when a lot of these projects are struggling. There's already institutional money in some form or another in there, which is good to know. I mean, if you're looking for big, safe projects. So, but yeah, so the fees on that Grayscale are a little bit higher than just buying the token yourself and holding them in a personal wallet, but it does open up the ability to lock in more money via traditional investment methods. So it's a proof of work token. So once you have the token, it's proof of work. So you can't stake it. So you buy it, you hold it, you hope that the price goes up in the future and then you could sell it, or you can currently use it. This is one of the games that we showed in our gameplay episode. You can actually jump in there right now and start spinning it, start gambling with it, start using it, for all the wearables, all the NFTs. So it's a very usable token right now, but you can also buy it and hold it, and you can lend it out on some of these platforms. So you can't stake it. The difference between lending and staking is when you stake, you basically lease your crypto to the blockchain, and the blockchain uses it to secure the network and provide liquidity. So it's so there's always money in the system. But when you lend it, you're leasing your crypto to an individual borrower so they can go invest it elsewhere, whether a business, or personally, like basically it's just a loan. And so you're hoping that borrower pays it back. And there are fail safes in place to make sure that they do pay back, but it is a little bit riskier than just staking it to the blockchain. Both options pay a yield, which is usually just a small percentage of the coin or the token that you're investing. staking to the blockchain, I know I just said this, it's much safer than lending to the individual. This is not financial advice, but if I was going to give some financial advice, it's less safe to loan it out than it is to just stake it.
Yeah, another way that going into that lending and tying into usage too is I saw you can leverage your mana tokens to take out a mortgage also.
Interesting.
So yeah, so very versatile.
Yeah.
But
And
it
that's
just goes to show you the overall wealth of that token, right? The faith that these institutions have in the strength of this project and this token.
absolutely. So you can't stake it, but you can lend it. Some of the platforms that allow you to lend mana are like Binance Earn, but that's only it doesn't work if you're inside the US. So if you're outside the US, you can stake it or lend it out to earn a yield. In the US, you have applications like crypto.com that offers the ability to lend out your mana tokens to earn rewards. One difference between the two services is Binance does not require you to lock in your tokens. So it's kind of like Coinbase, where if you have them on there, it's automatically earning, but you can take them out anytime that you want. Crypto.com, however, does have a lock-in period that does not allow you access to your tokens for that time frame. So if you actually lock it in, you are giving away your tokens
Access.
and then getting back. So you can't just decide halfway through your 90-day run to sell. And, even if the price goes way up or way down, you're hung on to them for a while. So that's the mana token. Currently 65 cents. Most experts agree. I don't know if there are crypto experts, but most of the 17-year-old kids on YouTube say that getting back up to its high of just under $6 is highly likely in the next bull run. And a lot of the speculators and the 15-year-olds on YouTube say the price could be anywhere from $10 to $100 in 2030. That's obviously the dream scenario. That would be a very high market cap. So highly unlikely for the $100, but 10 to 100 by 2030. Only time will tell. It's a great project, and we like it
A lot.
a lot.
Well, that is our Decentraland Mana episode. If you like what you're seeing here, check out some of our other episodes down below, along with our links that we provided. We'd love for you to subscribe and come along with our weekly episodes, including the news, also not just the projects. And be sure if you don't like what we're doing, feel free to leave a comment and tell us how we can do better and or some projects that you would like to see us cover. Thanks for following along.
Last thing, Ryan did set up his account at Parisland. So if you're looking to digitally
That's
date
hot.
Ryan, he's ready to go. He's looking for love in the metaverse. His wife said it's okay as long as it's not in the real world. So
You
look
can
him
find
up.
my avatar. It's the one that looks like Brad Pitt.
It's not catfishing if it's in the metaverse. See you later.